One. I'm joined right now by Cal State San Bernardino head men's basketball coach Gus Argenal, coming off a loss in the CCAA Men's Basketball Championship game. They fell to Cal State LA 73-62. Coach, would you just take us through your thoughts on today's game?
Yeah, I mean, coming into the game, you know it's going to be an extremely tough, physical, different game than last night because of the style of play. More spread out, more three-point shooting. But again, I give credit to LA. They were tough, physical, really cut off our driving lanes. We had a hard time posting up, getting into the paint. And then at the end of the night, we shot the ball really poor from the perimeter. And those things, that in a game like this, you have to play an A game against an A team. And LA and we're both A teams. And so you have to do that. And we didn't get it done tonight. All credit, Coach Saya did a great job with his team. Again, they're going to, maybe we'll see them down the road here in the NCAA tournament, but credit to them. They played physical. They earned it tonight. Our guys scrapped and clawed, but just didn't have enough at the end to finish layups, make some of the big shots that we've been making all season.
One guy that really did seem to bring it tonight, had kind of his A game in this championship one, was Christopher Mitchell. He ended up with 21 points and 16 rebounds. Can you tell me about the performance he gave you tonight?
Yeah, he's been playing extremely hard. To have 16 rebounds in this game was phenomenal. He was scrapping, clawing. Again, when the game got tight, he was pushing it, getting out, slithering, making tough shots in the paint. I think for us, the issue that we had as a group was just getting more guys going. We need 3 or 4 guys tonight to be in double digits. So in any game like this, you can have a star like Chris, who's an all-league player, have a great game. We just need a couple more guys to help us get over the top. And so to go to the next step, next week we're going to have 3 or 4 guys step up.
I got to ask you this one. We had a little talk yesterday. You guys played really tight rotation. Today that rotation got a little bit probably affected based off foul trouble. Do you think that the fouls kind of just played into the way you guys played tonight?
I think fouling, always affects games. You can say whatever. Last night, Okeke had 2 fouls early in the first half, so it affects every team. I felt like there was a moment when the fouls were maybe 10-4, where I felt like that hurt us as a team. We got on our heels defensively. I thought that defensively, when they were driving into our hips, we were backing up instead of our normal physical tough. So I thought it hurt us more defensively than anything. And then, it evened out at the end, but 23 and 24 fouls or 18 to 24. I mean, I guess that's a pretty big discrepancy of 6. But again, I'm not going to blame fouls for how we played.
They were able to take the lead right before halftime and kind of carry some momentum into the second half. You guys were able to tie it, but they still were able to push through and push the lead to 13 at one point. Was there a shots not falling issue tonight?
Yeah, I thought that when they made the comeback at the end of the first half to take the lead, that was kind of a factor of us not finishing at the rim. When you're playing a game like this, you have to finish, and unfortunately we didn't. Again, you can try to call timeouts, you can try to slow the game down, but when it comes down to it, when you're at the rim, especially a team like us, you have to take advantage of that, and I don't think we did that tonight. And then the second half, we kept it tight, but there was a spell where we kind of stood and watched each other play and didn't move the ball enough. And then again, that hurt us getting to the paint. We didn't have enough cutting. But again, I go back to Cal State LA is a really good team, and they made us play that way. And then we didn't defend them, and we allowed them to get downhill off of their dribble drive.
Robbie, not as effective against the double team tonight as he was last night. Was that a lack of movement options for him?
I think, Robbie's been phenomenal all year, and he's been really the heart and soul of what we've done. He's an anchor for us, and sometimes, it's really physical, and sometimes, it's hard to finish. I think that was one of those nights. I expect him to be really good next week and play great. He's been great all year. I really think he's, an MVP type candidate for this league. So I know he'll play great. Again, he gave great effort, but tonight we just didn't have it, and sometimes you don't. But to be a champion, you got to beat the champion. So we'll be better next week. And again, going back to your point, the double teams we've been seeing it all year. And so we're used to it. Tonight we just didn't execute some of our cuts and our game plan out of it.
They worked the weave up top. My last question. Yeah. You guys were able to figure it out at home about a month ago. It didn't seem like it bothered you guys too much. You knew the rotations, but they were still able to get into the lane and create shots against you guys.
Yeah.
What was different about what they were trying to do tonight? It seemed, for me, like their weave was more spread out, not as tight.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. It's a great point. The weave starts out high and it kind of slowly, gets closer and closer. Tonight, our problem was we got clipped a couple times. Like we were really getting through at home a month ago or whatever that was. But we got clipped like hip to hip, and that allowed them to get to the basket. Cofield, Okeke, especially going right to left, and that was really the difference in the second half of them getting downhill. Again, it kind of wears you out. It's like us in the post. You try to throw the ball inside for us, for them, they get you moving, and again, they wore us down a little bit in the second half of that.
Coach, we know you guys have a good opportunity to move on in this one. You guys are the number one team in the region. Can you just tell us what opportunities you guys have in front of you next week?
Well, I think with this team, it's been a special group. I've loved coaching them. They're really disappointed about what happened tonight. To be on our home floor, to have an opportunity to raise a banner, that's something that we've been talking about since August. That's what this program is about. So for us, we have multiple goals: win a conference championship, win a tournament championship, and then go, as far as we possibly can, which is 6 games in the next week, starting next week. So that's our goal. Our goal is to be the best team in the country. It's a lot. It's a hefty thing, but you got to get out of the West region. We know that we probably can play a team like Cal State, LA. You can play Dominguez. You can play all these teams that are in our region. We're excited about the opportunity. This team will be ready. They're mature, but they're super disappointed in tonight's outcome. But I know they'll bounce back. They have all year, and I've loved coaching the group so far.
Well, thank you very much for your time. We'll find out the fate of where the Coyotes will be going on the NCAA selection show tomorrow night at 8 o'clock on NCAA.com. So thank you very much, Coach. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks for a great tournament.
Thank you.